Trevor Whitmore called me into his office and said I was just numbers. My name is Logan Pratt, 54 years old, Chief Security Architect at Quantum Payment Systems in Austin, Texas. 19 years I spent in Air Force cybersecurity, protecting classified communications. Then 15 years building proprietary encryption for payment gateways that processed $48.5 million in transactions daily. Trevor was 29, the CEO's son, promoted to Chief Operating Officer 8 months earlier, despite having zero technical background and no meaningful experience. Logan Pratt, your compensation structure is inefficient. We're terminating your position to optimize operational costs. He said it like I was a line item on a spreadsheet. 6 hours before my $96,000 annual bonus was scheduled to pay, the bonus that automatically assigned my encryption IP to the company. Without that payment, my military-grade algorithms securing their entire payment platform remained my personal property. I understand, I said calmly. Walked out, went home, turned off my phone. That night at 9 p.m., their $87 million acquisition was supposed to close. The buyer's technical team would discover during final due diligence that the encryption technology securing $48.5 million in daily transactions belonged to me personally, not to Quantum Payment Systems. Trevor's phone would show 52 missed calls before midnight. Have you ever watched someone destroy an $87 million deal trying to save $96,000? I joined Quantum Payment Systems in April 2010, 3 months after retiring from the Air Force as a lieutenant colonel. 20 years of military service, cryptography specialist, built secure communications for Special Operations Command, designed encryption protocols for drone operations, protected classified data transmission across hostile networks. The private sector paid better. Quantum was a startup then. Payment processing for mid-sized e-commerce businesses, decent technology, growing customer base, needed someone who could build military-grade security for financial transactions. Their CEO was David Whitmore, smart guy, understood that payment security was becoming critical, knew that standard encryption wouldn't cut it for serious businesses. Logan, we need someone who can build protection that governments trust, he told me during the interview. That's expensive expertise, I explained. Name your price. We negotiated for 3 weeks. The employment contract was complex. I wanted to retain ownership of encryption algorithms I developed. My Air Force work had taught me that specialized cryptographic knowledge was personal intellectual property. David's attorneys pushed back. Standard employment contracts assign all work product to the employer. Not with military-grade cryptography, I explained. The algorithms come from years of specialized training. You're licensing my expertise, not buying it. We reached a compromise. I'd retain personal ownership of encryption methodologies. The company could use them commercially. But automatic assignment only happened upon receipt of my annual performance bonus. Why tie it to the bonus? David asked. Protection for both sides, I explained. You pay the bonus, you get the IP. You stop paying, I keep my work. Create strong incentive for mutual loyalty. David understood. Fair deal. The contract was signed. $200,000 salary, $96,000 annual bonus, IP assignment upon bonus payment. I spent the next 15 years building their security infrastructure. First was the transaction encryption layer, protected payment data during transmission, military-grade algorithms that made interception virtually impossible. This is better than anything our competitors have, David noted after the first year. Second was the storage encryption system, protected customer financial data at rest. Even if someone breached the servers, the data was useless without my decryption protocols. We're getting clients specifically because of your security, David observed. Third was the authentication framework. Verified transaction legitimacy in real time, prevented fraud without slowing processing speeds. Logan's encryption stack is our competitive advantage, became David's pitch to investors. The technology worked. Quantum grew from 30 employees to 400, from 10 million in annual transactions to 48.5 million daily. Every dollar passing through their system was protected by encryption I'd designed. David retired in 2023, sold his ownership stake to a private equity group. They kept him on the board, but brought in professional management. Then they made the catastrophic mistake of promoting David's son Trevor to Chief Operating Officer. Trevor had worked at Quantum for 3 years, started in business development, moved to operations analysis, had an MBA from a decent school. Zero technical expertise, zero understanding of payment security, zero appreciation for specialized knowledge. "We need to modernize our cost structure," Trevor announced in his first leadership meeting. I was sitting in the back, didn't say anything. Too many legacy compensation arrangements, high salaries with performance bonuses that don't align with current market standards. He pulled up a spreadsheet. My name was on it. Logan Pratt, 200,000 base plus 96,000 bonus. That's nearly 300,000 for a security architect position that market data suggests should cost 180,000. I stayed quiet. One of the other executives spoke up. "Trevor, Logan's compensation reflects his unique expertise. He built all our encryption systems. That IP is incredibly valuable." Trevor waved his hand dismissively. "Encryption is a commodity now. We can hire contractors for specific projects. Don't need expensive legacy employees." The executive tried again. "Logan's contract has specific IP provisions. I've reviewed the contracts." Trevor interrupted. "We'll handle transition appropriately." But he hadn't reviewed them carefully, hadn't understood what they actually said. The private equity group had pushed for faster profitability. Trevor was trying to prove himself by cutting costs aggressively. I became his primary target. The acquisition talks started in September 2024. Titan Financial Technologies wanted to buy Quantum for $87 million. Payment processing was consolidating. Titan wanted Quantum's technology and client base. Specifically, they wanted my encryption stack. "Your security infrastructure is years ahead of industry standard," Titan's CTO told David during initial discussions. "That's worth premium valuation." The due diligence process took 4 months. Titan's technical team reviewed every aspect of the encryption systems. "This is remarkable work," their lead security architect told me during a technical review. "Military-grade protection for commercial payments. Who built this?" "I did," I explained. 15 years of continuous development. "You must have an incredible team supporting you." "No team, just me." He looked surprised. "One person built all of this? One person with Air Force cryptography training and 15 years of focus." The acquisition was scheduled to close December 15th, 2024. My annual bonus was scheduled to pay December 15th at 3 p.m. The closing was scheduled for 9 p.m. The timing mattered. The bonus payment would trigger automatic IP assignment before the acquisition closed. Titan would be buying encryption that Quantum actually owned. Trevor didn't understand any of this. He saw my bonus as $96,000, leaving the company budget unnecessarily. "We're terminating Logan Pratt's position," he told HR in early December. "Trevor, his bonus pays on the 15th, the HR director warned. "His contract has specific IP implications tied to that payment." "I've reviewed his contract. We'll handle it appropriately." But he hadn't reviewed it appropriately, hadn't read the IP assignment clauses carefully. December 15th arrived. My bonus was scheduled to process at 3 p.m. through automated payroll. Trevor called me into his office at 9 a.m. "Logan, we're eliminating your position effective immediately. Operational efficiency requires leaner staffing." I sat across from his desk. "I see. You've had a good run here, 15 years. But the company is evolving. We need different expertise going forward. When is my final paycheck issued?" "Standard termination processing. You'll receive base salary through today, plus accrued vacation. Final payment within 72 hours. What about my performance bonus? Trevor's expression hardened. You're not employed during the performance period. The bonus doesn't apply. I nodded slowly. Understood. Any questions? No questions. I stood up, walked back to my office, packed my personal belongings. The HR director found me 20 minutes later. Logan, I'm so sorry. I tried to explain to Trevor. It's fine, I said calmly. The IP assignment provisions. I know, I interrupted gently. Don't worry about it. She looked concerned. The acquisition closes tonight. I'm aware. Without the bonus payment, the IP stays mine, I finished. I know. She stared at me. Understanding dawned. Oh no. Yeah. Should I tell Trevor? He reviewed my contract. He made his decision. Not your responsibility to fix his mistakes. I finished packing, turned in my badge and laptop, walked out of Quantum Payment Systems for the last time, drove home, told my wife Angela what happened. He fired you 6 hours before your bonus? Yep. The bonus that assigns your IP? That's the one. So the company doesn't actually own your encryption? Correct. And their acquisition closes tonight? 9 p.m. She started laughing. Couldn't help herself. Trevor has no idea what he just did. None whatsoever. I turned off my phone, opened a beer, watched a movie. At 9 p.m., Titan Financial Technologies began their final acquisition closing procedures. Standard process. Legal documents signed, money transferred, final technical verification. The technical verification was where everything stopped. Titan's attorneys were reviewing the encryption IP documentation, making sure Quantum legally owned the technology they were buying. They found my employment contract in the due diligence files, found the IP assignment provisions tied to annual bonus payment, found the HR termination records showing I was fired at 9 a.m. that morning, found the payroll records showing my bonus never processed. Titan's general counsel called David Whitmore at 9:45 p.m. We have a significant problem. David was at the closing dinner, celebrating. What kind of problem? Logan Pratt's employment was terminated today before his bonus paid. So, his contract assigns IP only upon bonus receipt. The bonus didn't pay. He still owns the encryption technology securing your entire payment platform. Silence. David, are you there? Logan was terminated today. This morning, 9 a.m. according to HR records. Who authorized that? Your son, Trevor, acting COO. More silence. David, we cannot close this acquisition. Quantum doesn't own the technology we're buying. Logan Pratt owns it personally. This is material misrepresentation of assets. The closing dinner ended abruptly. David called Trevor at 10 p.m. What the hell did you do? Trevor was confused. What are you talking about? You fired Logan Pratt this morning? Yes, cost optimization. I told you I was reducing legacy compensation expenses. Did you read his employment contract? Of course I read it. Did you read the IP assignment provisions? Pause. What provisions? Trevor, Logan's contract assigns his encryption IP to the company only upon receipt of his annual performance bonus. You fired him before the bonus paid. He still owns the technology. Titan can't close the acquisition because we don't actually own what we're selling them. Long silence. That can't be right, Trevor finally said. It's absolutely right. I negotiated that contract 15 years ago. I know exactly what it says. You just destroyed an $87 million acquisition trying to save $96,000. I can fix this. How? Logan's gone. The IP is his. The acquisition is dead. You've destroyed this company. David disconnected. Trevor started calling me. My phone was off. He called 18 times that night, left desperate voicemails. Logan, this is Trevor. We need to talk immediately. Call me back. Logan, there's been a misunderstanding about your termination. Please call me. Logan, I'm authorized to offer you your position back with the full bonus. Call me tonight. I didn't hear any of it. My phone was off. I was sleeping peacefully. Have you ever slept perfectly well knowing that someone's incompetence is destroying their company in real time? Tuesday morning, I charged my phone. 52 missed calls, 38 voicemails, 67 text messages. Trevor, David, the HR director, Quantum's attorneys, Titan's attorneys, the private equity investors, everyone panicking. I listened to the voicemails, watched the desperation escalate. Trevor's last message was instructive. Logan, please, the acquisition is frozen. Titan won't close without verified IP ownership. I made a mistake. We need you back immediately. Name your terms. Anything you want. Just call me. I turned the phone back off, spent Tuesday doing errands, grocery shopping, lawn maintenance, normal life activities. Angela found the situation hilarious. You're torturing them. I'm not torturing anyone. I'm unemployed, taking some personal time. Trevor must be losing his mind. Probably. When are you going to call back? When I feel like it. Wednesday morning, still hadn't responded to anyone. The private equity investors called an emergency board meeting. They'd spent months negotiating the Titan acquisition, counted on the $87 million exit. Now it was collapsing because Trevor fired the key architect hours before critical IP transfer. How did this happen? The lead investor demanded. David explained the employment contract structure. The IP assignment provisions, Trevor's termination decision. Trevor, you reviewed Logan's contract before firing him. I reviewed the compensation terms, Trevor admitted. I didn't focus on the IP provisions. Those provisions are the entire point of his contract, David said quietly. I designed them specifically to protect both Logan and the company. You destroyed that protection through incompetence. The investors weren't interested in family dynamics. We need Logan's IP to close the acquisition. What will it take to get him back? I've called him 52 times, Trevor said. He's not responding. Then someone else needs to call him. David shook his head. Logan knows what he has. He knows we need it desperately. He's going to negotiate from absolute strength because Trevor handed him that leverage. How much will he want? More than we can afford. The board authorized David to negotiate with me directly. He called Wednesday afternoon. I answered, Logan! David, how are things? You know exactly how things are. I might have some idea. Trevor made a terrible mistake. Trevor fired me 6 hours before my bonus to save costs. That was his decision. He didn't understand the IP implications. Then he shouldn't have been making personnel decisions about contracts he didn't understand. Silence. Logan, what will it take to fix this? Fix what, David? You know what? The acquisition. Titan needs verified IP ownership. You own the IP. What do you want? I'd spent 3 days thinking about this. $4.2 million for outright IP transfer, plus $300,000 annually for ongoing licensing of any derivatives, plus $800,000 severance for the termination. Logan, that's $5 million total. That's what 15 years of military-grade encryption expertise is worth when someone terminates the architect hours before critical contractual obligations. We can't afford that. Then the acquisition doesn't close. Titan walks away. You lose $87 million in exit value. The company probably goes bankrupt because your payment processing clients are already receiving notifications that their encryption might be unlicensed. You're notifying our clients? I'm protecting my IP. Sent courtesy notifications yesterday that my encryption technology may be operating without valid licenses. Purely informational, just making sure everyone understands the ownership situation. David exhaled slowly. You're destroying the company. I'm not destroying anything. Trevor destroyed it when he fired me to save money. He didn't understand was protecting $87 million in value. I'm just protecting my intellectual property rights. Logan, please. $4.2 million. $300,000 annual licensing. $800,000 severance. Those are my terms. Non-negotiable. You have 48 hours. I disconnected. Trevor called me 17 more times. I didn't answer. Quantum's board met again Thursday morning. Logan wants $5 million total, David reported. To restore IP that should already be ours? An investor protested. It's not ours. It never was. My contract with Logan always maintained his ownership unless specific conditions were met. Trevor prevented those conditions from occurring. Can we force Logan to transfer the IP? Quantum's general counsel shook her head. No legal grounds. His contract is explicit. He retains ownership unless the bonus is paid. The bonus wasn't paid. He owns it. Can we recreate the encryption without him? The technical team had been analyzing this question. Not quickly, their interim CTO reported. Logan's algorithms are sophisticated, built on military cryptography training we can't replicate. Even if we hired the best security architects available, we're looking at 18 to 24 months to rebuild comparable protection. Our clients won't wait that long. What happens if we don't get Logan's IP? Titan walks away. Our payment processing clients leave because they need security guarantees we can't provide without Logan's encryption. The company becomes worthless within 60 days. The board authorized David's negotiation. Pay Logan what he wants. Close the acquisition. At least we salvage something. David called me Thursday afternoon. We accept your terms. Wire the $4.2 million to my attorney's escrow account. I'll sign IP transfer documents once payment confirms. The licensing agreement and severance will be separate contracts. Logan, the board wants Trevor to apologize personally. I don't need Trevor's apology. I need payment confirmation and proper legal documentation. This is going to severely impact the acquisition proceeds. David, I gave Quantum 15 years of dedicated service. Built encryption they didn't have expertise to create otherwise. Trevor called me just numbers and fired me to cut costs. I'm treating this exactly like the business transaction Trevor made it. Fair enough. The wire transfer hit my attorney's escrow account Friday morning, $4.2 million. I signed the IP assignment documents. My encryption technology officially transferred to Quantum Payment Systems. The licensing agreement gave me $300,000 annually for any derivative work using my algorithms. The severance agreement paid me $800,000 for Trevor's wrongful termination before contractual obligations completed. Total package, $5.3 million. The Titan acquisition closed Sunday evening. Reduced purchase price of $81 million to account for the unexpected IP acquisition costs. Trevor was removed from the COO position Monday morning. Catastrophic failure of judgment resulting in near total loss of acquisition value, the board resolution stated. David faced intense board pressure for allowing nepotistic promotion. Your son nearly destroyed $87 million in value through incompetence, the investors told him bluntly. Trevor's career in finance was effectively over. The story circulated through industry networks within days. The CEO, who destroyed an acquisition to save a bonus payment. I used the $4.2 million to launch Pratt Security Systems, cybersecurity consulting firm specializing in payment encryption for fintech companies. Several of Quantum's competitors became immediate clients. We want Logan Pratt's military-grade encryption, they told me. We heard about what happened at Quantum. If they were stupid enough to let you go, we're smart enough to hire you. The consulting firm generated $800,000 in revenue the first year. By year 3, we employed 12 security architects and served 40 clients. The annual licensing payments from Quantum added $300,000 on top of that. Trevor never recovered professionally. Took a position at a regional bank, never regained executive status. His LinkedIn profile mentioned his Quantum experience vaguely. Operations leadership at a fintech startup. Didn't mention nearly destroying an $87 million acquisition through spectacular incompetence. David reached out about 2 years later. Logan, I wanted to apologize for what happened. Trevor was given responsibilities he wasn't ready for. I should have protected your position. Water under the bridge, David. You built something remarkable at Quantum. I never properly appreciated how unique your expertise was. You appreciated it enough to structure the contract that protected me when things went wrong. That contract saved you, but cost us millions. That contract worked exactly as designed. Protected my IP when compensation obligations weren't met. Both sides knew the terms. Trevor didn't know. Then Trevor shouldn't have been making decisions about contracts he didn't understand. We talked for another 20 minutes. Professional, cordial, no hard feelings. But we both understood what had happened. Nepotism had promoted someone unqualified into authority over specialized expertise they couldn't comprehend. That incompetence had destroyed value and created opportunities elsewhere. Sometimes the worst decisions create the best outcomes for the people affected by them. 5 years after leaving Quantum, Pratt Security Systems employed 32 people and generated $6 million annually. I'd built a business around the expertise Quantum decided was just numbers. The encryption technology I'd developed for them became the foundation for next-generation payment security across the industry. The 300,000 annual licensing payments would continue for another 8 years based on the contract term. Trevor's decision to save $96,000 ultimately cost his company millions and launched my independent success. The irony wasn't lost on anyone familiar with the story. Standing in my Pratt Security Systems office, I reflected on Trevor's dismissive comment that had changed everything. Just numbers, Logan Pratt. He'd reduced 15 years of specialized military-grade expertise to a line item on a budget spreadsheet. Never understood what those numbers represented. Never appreciated that encryption securing 48.5 million in daily transactions required knowledge that couldn't be easily replaced. Never realized that contracts have consequences and termination timing matters when IP assignment is involved. His ignorance had been catastrophic for Quantum and incredibly profitable for me. The experience taught me that sometimes being treated as just numbers is exactly what you need to recognize your true value. Trevor thought he was cutting costs. He was actually severing the relationship that made the entire company valuable. Managers promoted through nepotism who treat specialized expertise as replaceable overhead discover that some knowledge is irreplaceable. And people who fire you hours before critical contractual obligations don't deserve warnings about the consequences only you can prevent. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button for Revenge Tales with Luke. Share your experiences with nepotistic management and technical expertise in the comments. Your story might help someone else recognize their value before it's too late. See you in our next story.